The past few years, there's been a lot of changes personally, and there's been a number of people that I've talked to that have had similar experiences as far as the different emotions that you go through when you're coming out of this type of movement. There's grief that you go through, there's frustration, there's the shock, there's anger, there's sadness, there's the feeling of loneliness. There's so many things that you deal with as you're coming out, and you're trying to figure out what happened and what's going on. Where do you go from here? And one of the things I noticed, and it wasn't evident to me until I started talking to other people that came out of it, was the lack of peace that you had within this movement, the lack of the peace of God. That sounds like a really strange thing to say, doesn't it? You're supposed to be professing and saying all these powerful things, but yet there is this push to do so much in order for you to be victorious and you to be powerful and you to be anointed. You think about it. For those of us familiar with this, if you just go through that fire tunnel one more time, if you just walk the floor enough, if you just shout loud enough, if you just worship if you just dance more during services, if you just lifted your hands more and you didn't seem like you were so dead and dried up and like you've been sucking on a bowl of lemons, if you just prayed enough, if you just fasted enough, if you just rebuked Satan enough, if you just bind the devil enough, if you just had that certain person lay hands on you, then you could be anointed and powerful and do all these great things for God, right? If you could just have another experience, if you could just have more dreams, if you could just have open visions, if you could just audibly hear the voice of God, then you would really draw close to God. If you just had this supernatural experience. But the thing is, it becomes like a fix. It's like an addict. It's just, I need the next hit. I need the next fix. I just need this in order to draw closer to God. I just need this. I just need that. And what you soon find is that you're on a hamster wheel and that you don't really have the peace of God. But what I've come to figure out and to find out and to actually realize in the past few years, and to be able to help other people understand and point them back to Scripture and back to the gospel of Jesus Christ and back to Christ himself, and not fixating on the devil so much, is this. As you hear my son in the background, the peace of God has been so evident, and to be at peace with God, and to fix my mind, to fix my gaze on Christ, to look upward, to not be fighting all around me, to know that there is truly biblical spiritual warfare, but really it's the peace of God that no experience can buy.